Wow, alright, so the last video was longer than I wanted, so sorry about that. So I will keep this one as short as possible, but I feel like it's gonna be difficult because we're gonna talk about class and stuff. So, alright, let's say we make a new shiny design in the design tab, and we want to reuse this in the design, in our code. So like I want to recreate like a bunch of these in my screen. Let's make it the iPhone 5 size. How about that? It takes a little less screen space there. Okay, so wait, I probably should give it a name. So object, very creative. Wait, what? Did I not? Oh, I did not. It is now. All right, so we got the object here, and we want to reuse it. We want to make a bunch of copy, basically treat it like a symbol that we can duplicate and override. Well, there's probably a lot of articles and talk you've been seeing lately. There's like a symbol models on GitHub by Lucas something, and there are also some article on how to write a class. Um, well, yeah, this is the thing that I'm about to introduce to you is nothing new, but I think it would be cool to just walk through the class thing together to have an idea of how it really works. So, for example, like a symbol. So it would be very inconvenient to write a new class for every single symbol that you want to use, right? It would be much better if you can just like have a generic class that or function that create another class and function. So every time you create a new object, you can give it a class. That would be pretty great. Or you can just do copy. That works too. It works, but it's a little difficult to modify the children object inside. All right, before we start, let's make this a little more elaborative. Let's have like, oh my god, I kind of not used to that. The automatically stretch and maybe it grow on me with time. So let's say here we got a name and a location, and we're somehow gonna try to find some way to put an image here. I probably shouldn't use an oval. Would it work? Oh, we can test it out later. So let's do a fun thing. We're gonna prepare for some stuff. So let's say location. We're gonna expose this. We can do name, exposes. I don't think I need to expose them just to be sure, and I have the profile picture, or just avatar for short. All right, let's do this. Quick. Let's make it a little presentable then. Give it some shadow. Nice. Maybe not border. Gee. Okay. Corner radius. Where is it? Here it is. All right. 1, 3, 12. That's my favorite. All right, working. Let's make this name thing a little bigger. Why is it on the left? Many misery. That is frame design. Okay, so say we have the. Let's make this thing gray out a little bit. All right. Wait, no, it's too dark. Wait, for real now. Oh, for real now. I got it. So now we're gonna try to make this into a class and make a bunch of them. Remember, if you only have 3 instances of something, you're probably better just to copy stuff If you have like a zillion of them though, it's a good time to make a class, and especially if each one of those class have like a special behavior going on. Like if you want them to like do certain thing on click, for example. To be honest though, like you can still do all of this with just copy. So it's just, I guess it's just a fun exercise of how to use class. If I could do this quickly, I would make another video on the normal way to do it, which is using loop and just plain old copy. All right, so let's start. So say we want to write a function that's going to return a bunch of class. So it has to be a function. Let's call it like classify. I like that. So this classify thing function gonna take in a layers. Let's call them element because that's cool. I like it. I like the lm thing going on. And then it's going to return a class. How exciting is that? We should probably extend layers. Something interesting going on. Maybe my syntax is wrong. How do you write a new class again? Oh yeah, you have to have a name thing here. We're actually never going to see this name, so I don't know what to write here. Let's say class C5. That's lame, but whatever works. Whatever works. And let's just pretend we're not passing in anything for now. Or you know what, better yet, just make it like an empty object. So by default, it'll be empty object. All right. So this should work. We will have new class equal classify, and then now I think now new class is going to be a new class. So I'll have new layer equal new. Oh man, this naming scheme thing is horrible. And yep, you can see here it's working because I'm extending layer. So all the goodness from layers just apply to my new class. Basically, I'm just making a new name for layer. So if I say background color being red, for example, it's probably going to turn red. Yeah, that works. That's awesome. Good progress. I write return here. That's just my preference. But if your function on so CoffeeScript function will return the last thing that you write in the function. So if I can just say this, and it will still work because that's the last thing I have. But I like having return there. So we don't really need to do return there. We can also just write classify. Basically, same thing. All right, so I'm going to have this element object, and oh wait, first, whenever you define a class, you want to call a new constructor. So class is fancy keyword, but what it really is, it's just an object that contain a function, that contain other function. So construction is it's going to be a function that take in some options, and it's going to apply some stuff. So we are extending a class here called this super option. So whatever I pass into this new class, like I did earlier, background color red, we can do something funky here and then, you know, call super on it. When we call super on, did I just say super? When we call super on it, it's gonna call the constructor of layer to apply all those goodness. if we don't define a constructor, it's just going to use a constructor from layers. That's why it was still working earlier. But I mean, let's try something interesting to illustrate my point. So let's say the HTML here is say a number, a text, something. Let's take a text like say hello. We got the text hello here, and right here, I'll say if option dot HTML exist, options dot HTML. Let's be a very verbal, very plus space world. Boom! Now we got hello world there because we modified the option being passed into the constructor before we call the layer constructor. I feel like I'm already lost you. So sorry. So here, whenever we call a new class, it really is a function that you're gonna give it a object that contain a bunch of options, right? So this is our option. Whatever we pass into this option, it's gonna be passed over here in the constructor. And when we call the super function inside the constructor, it's gonna call the constructor of the parent class. Oh. Yeah. Let me know if it doesn't make any sense. I'm just gonna carry on with this for now. Anyway, let's say, okay, so now we got something going on. We got a layer that we got a function that return a new class that we can apply to do whatever. So now what we want to, the second thing we want to do is to copy all of this goodness, right? We're going to copy like all the properties of this thing. So we got the element here. We want the option to be we want all this option stuff to actually be properties of the object element. So if you manage to follow what I said earlier, we're gonna somehow merge this option here. I'm gonna write some pseudocode here. I'm gonna merge this option to the elements, this element options, and pass them both into this super. So we got the same frames, same shadow, same border radius going on. And so let's do that. In the previous video, we used object assign to merge two objects together. So I think we can do the same thing again. So let's say options equal object dot assign the root object to be overridden, and then let's lm's option. It doesn't exist, but I just keep watching, just keep going. And then our option, right? All right, that sounds somewhat decent. Something is going on. So here's the thing. There's no such thing as lm.options, right? Like this option only exists when you create a new layer. So we want to get all the like an object that contains all the properties of that layer. And luckily, Framework provides us with one of those. Very handy. That is props. That should work, right? Oh yeah. This option merge into Oh yes, it's not working because I'm not passing in my object into my function. You see and see here now it's just an empty object, so obviously there's nothing going on there. Actually, I should write this. Is this gonna check if lm doesn't exist? Then actually no. I wonder. Oh, let's forget about that for now. So we need to pass in this object. Let's rename them so we have a bit more clarity here. I never script my video, guys. So guys and girls. So yeah, I just got a lecture on using guys to refer to a group of people earlier on community that I met. It was a very embarrassing moment. Anyway, I should rename this into a box. Yeah, block is a little more memorable and easier to. We got some funky thing going on here with the name thing. I think because we were trying to copy stuff, so now they have some like duplication of names. So Framework just kind of like automatically rename them. I think so. Let's do this. So we got this classify function here. Now we just need to pass in like a prototype, like a copy. Let's say box. Boom! Look at that. This whiting, empty whiting, is our new layer, but it just happened to be like on the exact same x and y. So to differentiate between those things, let's just say background color. Boom, you can see that it worked. So our option is overriding the elements properties and overriding this little empty thing. So that's great. It's working. It's just kind of odd to have the x and y being copied over though. So I'm going to remove the x and y from the assigned thing. So remember that in object assign, objects are being merged from the right hand to the left hand. So if I want to override x and y, I can do it very easy. Just make it write another object here that have x0, y0, and you can see that now it's finally moved to a different place. So we know that it's working. Oh yeah, I can actually just hover over here and you can see that it's being highlighted there. So this, the box thing here is our new thing. It even copy over the name. You can see here that they have the same name, which explains why location here is being, wait, is it? I don't know. Maybe not. Anyhow, okay, so got one down. Now the second thing to do is to copy over our other goodness, like this avatar and this name and this location, right? So the thing is, a layer can only contain properties for itself. It does have a children object that contain, it's an array that contain like all the, the children. But yeah, we're not gonna have those things happen here. We're gonna have to create them inside the constructor. So think of the constructor as kind of like the actual function that will create the instance. So inside the constructor, I can refer to my instance with the this. So I can do thing here. I can define like some behavior inside constructor, also outside. Let's talk about it in a bit. So anyway, I'm going to create a new children here. We want to copy all these children over. So this is where copy on the shine, guys. I'm going to do copy each of these over. How would I do that? Yes, I guess I'm going to do a loop. So for child in ln dot children. Remember, children is an array that have all the goodness. For child in ln dot children child this add child we cannot do child because if I write child directly here, it's it's gonna copy over the stuff from the thing. So here, if I'm gonna move here x to, oh shit, yeah, shoot, I cannot do this. Actually, between this, I want to override this element of prop, but not my own option. So my option have to be ultimately all the way on the right. So here, okay. So now I can have my x, my y like 300. So you can see here that I'm just adding the children directly into my copy. So that's not good. So what we're gonna do though is we're gonna copy it. Yep. Now we're talking. And everything have the same name, which is cool. We're gonna touch this a bit more later, but yeah, yeah. This whole thing is not much different from doing copy. I think there'll be some more benefit later. Yeah. We're exploring class and function here, so it's more of a learning thing than really the most efficient way to do things. So anyway, let's call this class box instead. That's nicer. So now we got a bunch of these. So basically we're almost done here. So let's say I want to create. So the first thing I want to do is to move this box outside of my artboard. So when I create, so like I will start with the empty canvas here, and when I create a new box, I end up with, no duplication on the screen. So let's just make a loop, a bunch of them. 4, 0 to say 9. I like 9. Let's make 9 of them. Oh shit! I always do this. No, new box. There we go. And now we want the X to be, let's modify them a little bit for fun. The width should be screen dot width minus 40 because I want to give them some sort of margin. And so the X would take account for the left margin, which is 20, and the Y is gonna take 20 on the top, and we're gonna have like 10 in between them. So 20 plus I multiplied by the width, I mean the height of this thing. What's the height of this thing? Oh my god. Well, one way to find out. Oh gee, let's make them a little rounder. 150 sounds good. 150 plus 10, right? So 160. All right. Let's make them scroll a bit later. So, all right, that's cool. Now we have turned our little design here in the design tab into a symbol, and we're making a bunch of the copies. And if I change something here, like changing this color into like purple, my daughter loves purple. You can see that it changed immediately inside the on the code pen without any code modification at all, which is awesome. And remember that we can still modify any of these things. Oh wait, we want to modify the children, right? How are we going to go about and modify the children? Well, each of these have its own children, and I guess you can layer. Oh shoot, what happened there? Sorry, layer dot children with name, I guess. I hate this. I don't like any kind of this like selector thing. So we're gonna go with the cookit method, and we're gonna give each of our instance, each of our layer instance here. Let's go on instance. Each of our instance here a property that contain a reference to those little children thing. So it's gonna be over here. Instead of doing add child, which is Wait, we should do that. We should still do it. Yeah. But we're gonna do some other thing first. We're gonna create like this dot location, right? Let's find a way to refer to them. So I have location, name, avatar. So here I want to refer to them as instant dot location equals something something, instant dot name equals something something. That'd be pretty sick. Uh, but in this loop though, we would have to um, use a variable to refer to the name of each of these children. So I cannot say location here because then everything will be referred to as location. All three of these going to be location, and I don't want that. So here I would do the bracket syntax, and inside the bracket I would do child, which is, remember, is each child here is the children of the original. So the child here would be location, would be name, would be avatar. Why is my thing named differently? I gotta investigate, but guess not now. So we're gonna create a new property that hold a reference to the new copy here. Whoops, look what happened there. A million of this because we're doing child.copy twice. So really, we actually should make another one. So temp copy equal child.copy, right? And now, oh shit. And then we're gonna just replace this with both of these. Oof, back to normal one. Object.object. That's not good. So looks like I messed something up here. But anyhow, let's see if this works. How come name is an object? Hmm, 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 hmm. Okay, so it does hold a reference, but it messed up the name for some reason, which is weird. The name is object, children, these at children. Oh, right. I'm an idiot because this name thing is overridden. So the layer already have a name property, and I'm making so like the name of one of these child.name is actually name. So this.name equal temp copy, which is a object which messed thing up. So we probably should write a error checking thing that if the children name match one of the existing properties, and it should give you a warning, or actually it should just throw an error or something. That'd be more safe. But we're gonna do that on another day. Uh, I would do that before I upload this code somewhere on YouTube. For now, let's just have a special name for each of these things. So let's say we want them to always start with like a letter and have two words, for example, like this. So it would help a little bit. So it would never be confused with the properties because people don't typically name their property with this kind of format. So, all right, things back to normal. Whew. Lost myself there for a moment. All right, so now we can easily refer to one of those as the location dot background color Okay, yeah, that's actually a text. Sorry about that. Like, whatever. The point here is that it's being modified. So say if you were to have like a cool data that contain like a bunch of this coolness. So let's have an array that contain like a bunch of, let's say this is a profile, this is a person. Let's see how it works. So we got name here, my own name. Got location to be Seoul, Seoul, shape, name, Airy. Airy is my lovely cat, still in New York. Oh, I miss you. And my lovely wife. What's her name? Maybe one more. My beautiful daughter. Also in Seoul. So we're gonna rewrite this a little bit. We just want to make use of this data. So one way we can do is to do length, and then in each of these you're gonna refer to as here as kind of as like data y dot location. This is kind of ugly, so I'm gonna rewrite them in a different way. So we're gonna make use of the map function as mentioned in the loop video. If you haven't checked it out and if you didn't know about map, just take a quick look. I think it's useful. We're gonna map here, pass in a datum. Oops, forget to pass in the index there. All right, instead of using data, now we can directly use the datum. So that is slightly nicer, and also we can return the instant at the end of each loop. So and give it here. So like cells equal. So here I get a reference of all my class is here. Oh, not all my class, all my cells. So box, 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 box. Okay, let's keep some dummy text really quick. So what do we have? We got name and location. Gotta be name. So we got some stuff going there, and I guess it's modifying the profile picture for fun. Dot B avatar. Oh. Just pull a random image from Unsplash with the LTs dot random image. We're not gonna pass in anything. Sorry. All right, so that's working. Well, yeah, but what if I want to have some, behavior like changing color on hover, like those very basic things. It's a class. You should be able to do it, right? Yeah, I mean that's exactly the kind of thing that we create class for. So how would you add a behavior into a class? So for things like onTouch, onTap, you would have to do it inside the constructor after calling super. So here I would say something like this on tap. Let's do click. Print. For now, let's just print out the event itself. So you can see that it's working. But wait, we are writing a function that creating class for all kind of symbols, right? So that means like if I define this stuff here, then every single instance of any class gonna have it. That's not good, right? Yeah, that is not good. So how would we go about and do that? Well, one way we can do it, I think, we're gonna pass in a function, and that function, we're gonna pass in an optional function inside the constructor that would attach this event into the instance. So I would get like a function here. It could be just null for now. F for function, clear enough. So even if we don't have a function, it would still work. And we would call that function inside of the constructor and apply those attached event to it. Can't really call it right now. It's null. So if f, do f. So if the function exists, then do the function. Or like this for nicety. So the idea is that we can define these behavior when we call our classify function. So now we're gonna give a function to it. And then we're gonna pass in here like instant, right? And then here we would have instant dot on tap print. What? Okay. That's because I did not. Oh, all right. It's running almost. Oh yeah, because I'm doing this. So it's like constantly calling it as I type things. So instant on tap, print stuff. So now we need to pass this instant inside the function. So passing in this inside constructor after super refer to the instant itself. So here it's gonna start tapping stuff, which is nice. I got that going. So let's do the thing where if you tap on something, give a border or something, toggle like a border on off. That'd be cool. Well, so we need states, right? We need states, so we can define that state right inside this function as well. It's starting to get stupid. I know, you can just there's so many ways to do this stuff, and this might not be the most efficient way to do things. But, since we're here, let's assign it some state on active background color turn to a subtle gray. Or maybe just a stronger shadow. Oh no, just do this. Inactive, I'm just going to give back the normal background color, which is white. So on top, this. So this inside this function is going to refer to instance. This state cycle active, inactive, int active. Is it how you do state cycle? Let me take a trip to the dock. Sorry. Why is it not working then? Oh, I guess the color is just too subtle earlier. So it actually worked. It's just like impossible to see the differences. Oh yeah. Oh man, that's like really subtle. Sorry, that's a bad pick of color. This one worked. So yeah, there we go. We got a custom state and behavior inside a class instance. So there's like a load of other things we can do here. So for example, if I want to reduce the size of this thing, I can do so very easily. And it would be reflected immediately on this one. Then we got some custom behavior going on, which is nice. So if I were to make this down here, I mean, that's handy. And we can apply this to any sort of object, right? So if I create like a new another object, giving it some sort of shadows, let's be really quick with this one. Another whiting that have a little box in it. And instead of making a new instance of the box, let's make an instance of the other thing. Correct. We're not going to have any sort of fancy behavior, just rect. Undefined is not an object. Oh yeah, because we don't have any of this stuff in our custom. Yep. Oh, I wish there's like a convenient way for me to know how long have I been rambling. So thank you for tuning in if you watch all this so far, and let me know how I'm doing. Give me a comment, or you can contact me on Spectrum. If you go to the framework group, there's only one. There's like a big group that's like framework together, and you can call me there, or you can look for Derek on the Facebook chat group or on Slack. I'm pretty active on Slack. So, all right, thank you.